Good evening. Thanks for being here tonight. We begin this evening in Cowichan Bay, where there is an abandoned ship anchored offshore, listing badly and taking on water. And locals are afraid that if the ship goes down, it will take the area's sensitive marine habitat with it. The Coast Guard boarded and inspected the Dominion 1 earlier this week and says there is no oil leaking from it yet. But many fear by the time a leak is discovered and is dealt with, it's going to be too late. Our Mid-Island Bureau Chief Jonathan Bartlett joins us now with the story from Nanaimo. Jonathan.
The 46-meter Dominion 1 is in rough shape. Hundreds of pigeons have now made it their floating home. But much worse, it looks like the derelict ship is listing and may have sprung a leak. Mike Tansley says more and more he's seen derelict boats with rotting hulls anchored and abandoned in Cowichan Bay.
And some of them are just a disaster waiting to happen.
But it's this particular ship and these barnacles above the waterline that has Tansley really worried.
They should be underwater. Barnacles don't grow above the water level. She's taking water in the back.
The 46-meter Dominion 1 appeared in these waters about 6 years ago.
When it first arrived, it was tied up at the new breakwater, and we had a storm that winter, and the breakwater, she was actually moving the breakwater and broke some of the chains.
But now people who live in Cowichan Bay have noticed she's listing, leaning over as she's slowly taking on water, an environmental disaster waiting to happen.
If she was starting to go down, we'd have quite a mess to clean up in Cowichan Bay. Heavy oil, bunker oil, stuff that's still laying in the bilges of this equipment.
Last weekend, a concerned local took it upon himself to pump out some of the water.
We had noticed that it was listing, and this resident went into the boat and pumped it out all day Saturday.
Attempts to find the owner or get help from the Ministry of Environment or the Coast Guard has been fruitless.
And nobody has gotten back to me personally.
The Coast Guard know about it, and as far as I'm concerned, they have to be on top of it now. Somebody has to take responsibility for this vessel.
Last year, something appeared in these waters that made some wonder if Cowichan Bay was becoming a dumping ground for other people's junk. A huge section of the Hood Canal Bridge was towed here from Washington State. People were relieved when it left the bay last spring.
It took us a year to get that out of here, and it was brought here to be demolished.
We seem to keep getting these things in Cowichan Bay, and I don't want them here, and I don't think they should be here.
The Dominion 1 is believed to be owned by a Canadian man living in Oregon, 72-year-old Robert Hall. An acquaintance says Hall is horrified by the state of his ship and that the man put in charge of taking care of her has allowed her to become derelict.
What's he going to get for it now? Nothing, you know? That's over $1 million boat. Like everything, generators, totally outfitted. I cannot believe that somebody would do that to another fella.
The owner is reportedly now planning to have the ship sold as scrap metal and towed out of Cowichan Bay next month. Of course, Cowichan Bay is not the only seaside town with this problem. The Association of Vancouver Island Coastal Communities is working on a resolution to find some kind of solution to the issue of derelict boats. In fact, it was brought up at the recent Union of BC Municipalities last week. Hudson.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.